All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Tal Schnell. I'm here at Lead with Giants TV. Tonight on the program, we have Kary Oberbrunner, the author of Day Job to Dream Job, Practical Steps for Turning Your Passion into a Full-Time Gig. I got the book the other day, and thank you, Kary, for that. Really appreciate it. It's been on my nightstand the last few nights. But Kary, welcome to our show.
It's great to be here. Thanks so much, Liz and Tal.
Great. So Kary Oberbrunner is a founding partner on the John Maxwell team, and the author of several books. He left his day job to pursue his dream job, igniting souls. Through his writing, speaking, and coaching, he helps individuals and organizations to clarify who they are, why they are here, and why they should do what they should do with their dream job. So, Kary, thank you again for being here. I know you've kind of on a midi-week for you out there in the social world with different podcasts and videos. Really appreciate you being with us here this evening.
Hey, it's great to chat with your audience and you as well.
Great. We'll do a quick introduction. I know I've got my co-host here, Liz Stinselli. So thank you for joining us. From where you're from, tell us where you're from. Introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm Liz Stinselli with Stinselli Advisors, and I'm hanging out tonight from Salt Lake City, Utah. And I'm excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome. And you having some summer-like weather over in Utah now?
Very hot the last week. So.
All right, good. We got a lot of rain here today. It feels like winter, but it is what it is. Kary, you've shared some interesting statistics in your book, and my first question, I want to actually let the audience know that you've shared some statistics that are very disturbing when you look at the workforce and the American companies, looking at 86% people that dislike their job and they're dissatisfied with what they're doing, really, just waking up every morning, going to your job. And then 70% of the people, American workers, are disengaged from their job. My first question is why do you think how did we get there? I know that the numbers jumped from 60% to 84% in the last few years. How did we get there? Is it just lack of leadership, lack of appreciation of people at work?
Yeah, it's interesting, Tal. That really rattled me as well, and I think it comes from a couple things. I think that we're realizing that just having a job isn't equal to being fully alive. Our parents, perhaps our grandparents, they used to measure success as I go to work, and not for everybody, but a lot of people said, I hate the job, but I just got to do it, and exchange 5 for 2, 5 days of work week for the weekend. I mean, just the other day I heard somebody at Sam's Club share, the best day of golf. I'm sorry, the worst day of golf is still better than the best day of work. In other words, people today realize that there is another way. See, we used to not have options, and we just thought, well, that's what I went to school for, so I got to stick it out another 30 years. And today, with the emerging technology, with books that kind of started this conversation, like the 4-Hour Work Week back in 2007, people are realizing that freelance and entrepreneurship and mobility is huge. Why defer retirement until you're in your 60s? Why not take mini vacations now, which many people are doing? So I think what's happened, really, Tal, is that people have realized there is another way. And as soon as they realize that there are other options, now they have to deal with the question. Now it's not like there's only one way now. Now you can reinvent yourself at 30, 40, 50, 60, even 70. I have an 80-year-old client who's reinventing herself and becoming a first-time author and starting a business at 80.
It's amazing because I was listening to something similar today in one of the Success Magazine CDs, and Jack Canfield was sharing that it's never too late to start your dream. And he shares a story about Helen Klein, who I guess wanted to run a marathon, and she did that at the age of 55. And by the age she got to 80 or something, she was actually running more than any of us can think of when we're 40. It's just an interesting sight to where you're saying there's more options, and people are saying to themselves, I can create a better meaning for myself, fulfilling, rewarding. I sense that fulfillment is coming through some of the stuff that I'm doing. Do you think that technology had enabled people to realize their dreams just like you're doing, because now we have more options, and especially with I think I listened to one of your interviews saying, if you wanted to sing and you want to get on YouTube and just start singing, you can, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've now had stories like that in the past. People who maybe 20 years ago, if 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, if they wanted to get big, they had to go through all the traditional gatekeepers. With publishing, it was agents. If you can't get an agent, you can't get a book deal. Now they're self-publishing. If you couldn't get a record deal, your music couldn't be heard. Now you can upload to iTunes. And we see examples of this, and people think, oh my gosh. Even the fact that today, I know people that legitimately, check it out, they go to Goodwill or they go to a garage sale, they buy an item that they know is way underpriced, put it on eBay, and now the world bids that up, sometimes 30, 40, 100 times more than what it sold at the garage sale, because now their audience is the world. See, we're in an economy today where truly the world is your client. And 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, that was unheard of. And so yes, the options are totally available. I just came from a conference called World Domination Summit with Barry. Barry was over there. I know you've had him on your past shows. And we were connected with people from 30 countries, and these people are doing amazing things that you would never have thought of. And that concept, that dream, is so much more possible, that people are no longer satisfied with this office 9 to 5. And here's the other thing, Tal and Liz, we're working longer. I have here a phone. Most people realize I technically am on 24/7. Their boss can contact them, or they check emails when they shouldn't, and so that's part of the angst as well. There is no this work and life. Now it's kind of enmeshed, and because of that, people say, I need out. If I'm mobile already, why not create and work for myself?
Yeah, and I think it's so critical. I want to go back to that, but give Liz the opportunity to ask a question here for you.
Kary, I listened to you talking about self-limiting beliefs in the interview I listened to yesterday, and I wondered if you could maybe just touch on some of these self-limiting beliefs that keep us stuck in our day jobs.
Totally. Yeah. In my coaching with hundreds of people that I've done over the years, 2 self-limiting beliefs come up. They sound different. People have different nuances, but they always center on I am not enough, which deals with identity, or I don't have enough, which deals with resources. And that is the mirror that people run into when they desire to break free from their dream, from their day job. They say, oh, I'm not enough. I'm not enough physically. I'm not enough mentally. I'm not enough financially, or I don't have enough education. I don't have enough networks. And these self-limiting beliefs, we call them BS. It stands for belief system. And this belief system will sabotage you if you're not careful. You'll realize in the book I talk a lot about Shawshank Redemption. It's kind of a metaphor that I use. And just like Andy Dufresne was in jail, most of his friends they had self-limiting beliefs as well. Even though they wanted to break free initially, they got comfortable with it because they thought, I'm never going to get out of here. I don't have what it takes. And people begin to exchange, if they're not careful, they begin to believe these lies. And Morgan Freeman has a great line where he says that these walls that we once hated, we soon begin to love them, and then we can't live without them. And that was a term in Shawshank Redemption called being institutionalized. And a lot of day jobbers, I call them day jobbers, and dream jobbers, that's kind of the split there. A lot of day jobbers long to be free, but they also have to deal with all these self-limiting beliefs if they go pro, and therefore it keeps them caged.
That's a great way to analyze how psychologically we feel about the day job and dream job. I wanted to ask you about how, somebody who's worked their career, you have people who, spend 30, 35 years in a career. They're a little bit older than us, and, this is when you bring that concept to them, they think, well, I've basically built my career, and this is my day job, dream job, however you want to call it, it is what I'm doing. And they kind of taken aback by that concept. How do you relate to that when you have the generational gap about how they view a job?
Sure.
When you talk to an older person, a job is a job, and it's kind of like a very disciplined
Sure.
philosophy. I go in, I work hard. I know you spoke about earlier about how the whole thing about going to college, working 10, 12 hours a day, going to bring us success, but not really. It's changed now. So
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about that mentality, how it's different from different generations.
Yeah. Do you remember that swimmer Diana Nyad who about a year ago actually, she swam 110 miles from Cuba to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe she was 64. And
Wow.
she failed several times before, and that dream started in her 20s. And here's the point, Tal and Liz. Diana Nyad, I talked with people in their 60s, and she did something for them. She actually formed what was called a dream team. How cool is that? And she had 40 people, and they all helped her pursue that dream. Diana realized that if she died having not achieved that dream that was put within her in her 20s, something would be missing. And what I want to encourage older people, it's interesting. People say a lot of times, I wanted to be a painter, but I became an electrician. I wanted to create film, but I became a teacher. In other words, it's this exchange of dream. And here's what I know. It's a great quote. I'm going to borrow it from somebody else. John Eldridge quotes somebody, but he says, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, because the world needs people who come alive."
I like
That's
that. It's very
yeah,
inspiring.
that's the point of this whole conversation, that you fully alive is your greatest gift to the world. Nobody is impacted nearly to the amount when you just say, well, I have to go to work. Well, this is my duty. Don't tell anybody, don't put my name on the jersey, I just work here. Don't ask me, I just work here. When you're half alive as a person, you take that with you. You take that with you in your home life, in your relationships. Who we are is who we are wherever we go. And so my point is this. It's that if there are still dreams in you that are not fully expressed, that is a commission to you. That is a calling. And you can live a life of regret, but that is a very high cost.
I like that, and I think that's a really good way to close our segment one here with that thought in mind. As we just getting started, I like to prepare the ground for further discussion with your book. So we'll close kind of a chapter 1 here, and we'll dive into the second segment in just a few. So thank you, Kary, for your thoughts here.
Awesome.
All right.